It took a while, but I finally settled on a new monitor. I got my 3070 back in January, and that was incompatible with my monitor for running 144Hz. The old monitor only did DVI, dual DVI-D for 144Hz, and of course the 3070 only does DisplayPort or HDMI. Long story short, needed a monitor that had DisplayPort or HDMI to get me back up to 144Hz. And after lots of toing and froing and watching reviews, I finally settled on the BenQ EX2510. And originally I was going to go for the AOC 24G2U, but these came out and they have a slightly faster refresh and they're a slightly bigger panel. And that does mean less pixels per inch because the pixels you do have are going to be stretched over the slightly larger panel, but it's nicer to have more screen and less bezel. The EX2510 is an IPS panel, which the colours are so much nicer than the TN panel I had before. It's 144Hz, which is nice. It has FreeSync, which I can confirm does work with the 3070, and it's G-Sync compatible. I had a bit of a nightmare getting G-Sync set up, but it was my own doing. You have to use DisplayPort cables rather than HDMI cables, which is what comes in the box. It comes with an inbuilt speaker, which it's okay, it's perfectly acceptable. If you don't have room on your desk for separate speakers, it'll certainly do the job, especially if you're normally wearing a headset for gaming. The body of the monitor is actually slightly chunkier than I expected from a monitor in 2021, but it is a fast monitor, it's IPS, and it does have the inbuilt speakers, so it's not the end of the world really. I ran into a small problem. It doesn't fit on my monitor arm, but that's again my own doing because I threw out the risers. I got little spacers risers with the monitor arm that I didn't use with my last monitor, and of course, me being me, I binned them. But the stand fits on the desk and it's quite nice with the little orange accent at the bottom actually. We'll take a quick look at the menus. When you first click the joystick on the back, you get this quick menu. It lets you flick between your color modes, and you can change which shortcuts are on here for each profile. You go down to menu, you can choose your input. You've got two HDMIs and a DisplayPort. Your quick menu will let you swap between the three profiles, standard, game and cinema. Again, for each of those you can change the three shortcuts on the right. You go down to color mode and you can flick through each color mode, see which one you like. And once you've picked one, you can go to the panel on the right and change each of those color settings too. Eye care gives you some options about blue light filter, changing color weakness. Audio, of course, if you're using the speakers, you can change the audio mode and the volume. And then you've got your system settings at the bottom. For the color profiles, I've settled on the standard one. It seems fairly accurate straight out of the box. I'll put up a quick comparison here out the FPS on the left and the standard one on the right. And since I play only really FPSs, I presumed FPS is what I was going to go for. But the FPS gives it this strange blue tint, and it's not very nice. So I've left it at standard, and that's what I've been using for the last few days. The main benefit I've found so far, other than being able to jump back up to 144Hz, which I have missed, is the colours. As soon as I opened Warzone, which is my go-to game at the moment, as soon as the loading screen appeared, the colours were so much better. It was like a different game. And when you eventually do get into a game, again, the colours are just, it's night and day compared to a TN panel. This is the first IPS panel I've ever actually sat in front of, I believe, and it is definitely worth it. But sadly, even with those sweet colours and 144Hz G-Sync, it doesn't help me in games. I still suck. And to wrap it up, that's my 2 cents. The colours are great, the refresh is great, and for the price, it's a great monitor. I didn't get a chance to compare it side by side with the AOC 24G2U, but overall I'm happy with my decision. Hopefully this has helped some of you out, helped you make your decision. If it has, hit like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.